omit from the ad and play.
When all that you've tried leaves nothing but holes inside, it seems like you're wired to stay here held in time, 'cause nothing seems to change. Oh no, no, nothing's gonna change at all. Can see it in your face, the hope is gone away. If you hold tight, shadows will be lost in the light. Oh, 'cause sometimes fate and your dreams will collide. So don't walk away from me. Oh, don't walk away from me. Oh, don't walk away from me. Your feet are stuck, no, they cannot move. So tell me through the gloom, you're trying far from home at ease, but get some time to breathe, 'cause nothing seems to change. Oh no, no, nothing's gonna change at all. And see it in your face, the hope is gone away. But if we hold tight, shadows will be lost in the night. Oh, 'cause sometimes fate and your dreams will collide. So don't walk away from me. Oh, don't walk away from me. Oh, don't walk away from me. 'Cause everything will be okay. I know that it's so easy to say, but the pain inside will fade. Please tell me that you'll stay. If we hold tight, shadows will be lost in the light. 'Cause sometimes fate and your dreams will collide. When all that you've tried leaves nothing but holes inside.
So, not to end on a down note, but, I hope this kind of shows to you guys the importance of what we're all about in this room and what I know you guys believe and how you can support the people in your lives. Kind of to wrap things up, I really just want to thank you guys for not just coming out here tonight, but for watching my videos, because I know that I'm only able to do what it is that I do because of you all. And so that makes me both really humbled and really grateful. And I know some of you, I was talking to someone that has been tuning in for 4 years. So whether it's 4 years or this is the first time, thank you guys. And I want to thank you guys all for having me here. And I know we're going to do some question and answer stuff. So we have some mics. Yes. Does anyone have any questions? No questions? Okay. Anyone? Is that Davey Wavey with his shirt on? I don't recognize him. Is that...
Okay, so hi, I'm a freshman here, and I just wanted to know what made you want to start doing YouTube videos, or how'd you get into it?
Well, I didn't. That wasn't my intent. I do it now for my living, but when I started, I just thought it was going to be kind of fun to keep a diary, and I never thought anyone would watch. But then 5 years ago, this past summer, I caught my neighbor jerking off in Toronto, and I made a video about it. And as it turns out, that's apparently something that people search for on YouTube. And it got millions and millions of views, and people started subscribing, and so then I just kind of fell into it. And at that point, I was like, well, like maybe I need to make videos not just about people jerking off, but like about stuff that could add value to people's lives. Not that humor doesn't add value, it certainly does, but something with a little bit more meaning. And so I kind of just fell into it. And then 2 years ago, I quit my job and have been doing this full time ever since, pinching myself all along the way. So, yeah.
I was like reading comments. Some of them like are sort of negative. They're like saying like he's old. Like, how do you deal with like people?
Just call me old.
Other pictures on Facebook are saying you look so young. I already told you that. So how do you deal with some like the negative comments?
I mean, YouTube is a really good life lesson for anyone. It's really good practice for anyone that kind of wants to have a balanced life, because people say some really nasty stuff, and they say really good stuff too. And so the trick, I think, is to not really care either way. Like not that you don't care, but not to measure yourself by the good things or the bad things that people say. Because if you internalize the good stuff, then you're going to internalize the bad stuff, and that gets really messy. So there's a quote that I love, which is, what other people think of me is none of my business. And so if someone thinks that I look old, if someone thinks that I'm an ass, or that whatever, that's their path. They can think that. At the end of the day, it says a lot more about them than it does about me. And so I just kind of let it wash over me like rain, good or bad. And so, having said that, I mean, there still are certain comments that I'm like, oh. But by and large, that's kind of that's my practice. Good question.
So how do you, he was asking about negative comments, how do you deal with like stalker, crazy, psycho people? Like even the picture you put on Instagram a few minutes ago from here, even the comments underneath there are kind of crazy and stalkerish. So have you ever had any issues with psycho, crazy people?
I mean, there's been a few, but it's like, it kind of comes with the territory, and like at the end of the day, I think people they're well-intentioned, and how they go about those intentions is a little bit scary at times. There certainly are stories we can talk after, but I mean, it's not that serious, Yeah, I don't have a bodyguard or anything. Just lock my door at night, that's all. In the back there, yeah.
Hi, I was just wondering, since I know you've traveled a lot because of your YouTube videos and job and yoga or something like that, I was just wondering, what's like the most amazing place you've ever been, in your perspective?
Oh, Milwaukee. Totally Milwaukee. I would say my favorite, other than Milwaukee, my number 2 would be Toronto. Have any of you guys ever been to Toronto, Canada? No? Oh my God. Road trip. Anyone have a bus? Toronto's really good. It has an amazing energy, it's super inclusive, there's a lot of rights, things that are privileges in the United States are rights in Canada, and Toronto is just the perfect encapsulation of all of that. Number 3 would be Sydney, Australia, for the sole reason of the locker room at Fifth First on Oxford Street. It is it's like a porn. It's unbelievable. That's all we'll say. That's all we'll say about that. Any other questions?
Oh.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into fitness?
I think it's an extension of honoring life, is honoring your body, because you only get one body to experience life. And if you're really passionate about cars, you keep your car tuned up. And because I'm passionate about life, I want to experience it the best I can. And so fitness kind of grew out of that. I'm not going to lie that my kind of initial motivation when I was 16 and looking at the Abercrombie and Fitch flyers and posters in the mall was like, ooh, I want to look like that. You know, like it was probably wasn't the most noble of reasons. But I think once I started to get into shape and work out and exercise, I realized the other transformations that it brings to your life, kind of beyond the physical transformations. And that's when I was really sold. So, does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I had a three-part question.
Oh, okay.
Really short. Okay. Do you go by, to people you know, do you go by Davey or just Dave? Or?
Some of my friends call me Davey. My mom calls me David, and my other friends call me Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the second part is, I noticed you have a greyhound in your videos.
I do. Chipotle.
Yeah. Are you familiar? Like, are you a supporter in the racing greyhounds that you use that they go through, or do you have any?
I'm not a supporter of these. Yeah, she's a rescue greyhound. She's a really sweet dog. It's funny because like if a human ever went through what she went through, they'd be like broken for life. You know, like they'd be totally. But she's so sweet and so kind and so loving and loyal and grateful. So yeah, she's from Massachusetts. It's now thankfully illegal to race greyhounds there. So hopefully her relatives are now unemployed. But yeah, they're great dogs.
Okay. And the third question I have is a little on topic. Of all the places that you've traveled to and all the venues that you've been at, like,
Where's the foreskin the best?
Where was a place that you felt like had the best, I don't know what I'm trying to say, the most accepting atmosphere? Like, what's city, country, like, is most accepting toward, you know, big people?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely Toronto, and they have a huge gay pride parade there every year. And something like 1 million people, or maybe it's like 2 million people go out to see it. It's something ridiculous. It's a huge number. And there's only like 4 million people that live in Toronto. And so like they're not all gay. In fact, like, a lot of them are. But they're not all gay. And so in fact, it's a lot of like straight families that come out to the gay pride parade, which like in New York, it's like even a city as progressive as New York, like straight people by and large, like it's gay people that come out to the parade. In Toronto, it's like straight people with their kids, and it's coming out to be like, okay, like this is diversity, this is what we support, and it's really, I mean, it's not something I've ever seen anything close to in America. I would say Toronto's probably the best. Yeah.
And then just a follow-up question. Since I know you love bathhouses so much, I'm going to the one in Milwaukee.
No, I did 2 bathhouse videos. I don't think it's a trilogy. I think we're ending it after 2. I did one in New York, it was a difficult experience, and then I did another one in Toronto recently. And I think I'm just too lazy and cheap for the bathhouse thing because it was like $18 to get in. And it's like, and you have to go there, right? You have to like go there. And when like I can just pull up my phone and be like, oh, okay. Like Grindr is a much more efficient way to meet people at the end of the day. Yeah. Like who has time for all that? So another question.
So since like the success of your videos, how significant has the change been in your life and like your relationship with the gay community now that you've gone from, you know, nameless hot guy to icon and role model?
Yeah, I guess, well, I get to do stuff like this, which is great, which I didn't get to do before. People care, I guess, a little bit more about what I have to say, but I think fundamentally I'm pretty much the same. I was old enough, I know, despite how young I might look. Thank you. I was old enough when my videos became popular that I kind of already developed into the person that I was going to be. And so, I mean, it was kind of just for me like icing on the cake. It was great that I'd have this platform, this audience, but I don't think it really fundamentally shifted me. But now I get to do stuff like this, which is fantastic, which I love. And I get to see things that I would never see and go to bathhouses and stuff. But yes.
I know you talked about this in one of your videos. Hi there.
Hi. Hey, girls.
Do you still drink ketchup out of the bottle?